Hello guys, it's Kudzai on Simply Stylishly Modesty.
Hi guys, it's Kudzai Pasrai on Simply Stylishly Modesty. I hope that you guys have been having a great time in the lockdown, though it is definitely coming to the end. And today I just wanted to talk to you guys about what to do, in your free time. And if you're a 15-year-old, 16-year-old, and this is the perfect time for you guys to develop certain talents, that you can actually monetize and get rich from. So let's get into it, get comfortable, because it's gonna be a lengthy talk. So like I said, we're gonna talk about what you guys can do in your free time. So I'll tell you a little bit of my story. When I must have been 20 years old or 19, just before the end of 19, I wrote a book and I self-published my book. That was a great thing to do at that time. But before I even did that, I remember when I was going to to do my GCSEs after school. Obviously we had lots of assignments and work to do, but I always had a hobby on the side. And for me, my hobby was reading books and also writing as well, stories. So I found myself after school in my room. I had some notepads and I would just write stories. And I remember I started a blog ages ago, and I would just post some quotes in it, and then I would try and find ways to just encourage people. But it was something that I enjoyed doing. I remember I was only 15 years having that blog. I remember after quite a while the site closed and I had to get rid of a lot of stuff from the blog, and because everything just was shut down and stuff. And then I remember I ended up signing up on WordPress and pursuing that, and also starting a fashion blog that has led me to have this YouTube channel. So I really wanted to talk about the young girls. I know I'm not really preaching to anyone, I'm not trying to get you, but I just want you to get you to think of the time that you have right now, because they say you're not young forever. So there's so many things that you can do in this time, and this is the perfect time to develop yourself, to develop your skills, to to really work on your hobbies. For example, you might enjoy sewing clothes, or you might enjoy baking cakes, or you might enjoy, I don't know, making lemonade. But I really want you to start thinking of things that you can do and make money from. We've read lots of stories of people that have done so many great things even when they were young, and I just thought it's something that is worth it talking about. Even though I am all about fashion and style, I always want to give people some food for thought. So I thought this is a perfect time. So one way you can definitely look into having your hobbies. Obviously you have to think of things that you like to do, whether you like to paint, whether you like to plant flowers. I don't know, what you like doing, and you could really work so hard into your hobby, and your hobby can actually make money for you in a way. For me, I remember when I was 20, I did a lot of research, and I found this company that was owned by Amazon, which was called CreateSpace at the time. And I did my research, I approached them, I said, I have this idea, I want to do this with this book, and they said, yes, you don't have to pay anything, but you have to do this, and there are royalties and stuff. And then I started to think of the long term of generational wealth and having a legacy and all those kind of things. And I remember I said, what, I'm actually gonna do it. And I remember I actually did a book, which I'll show you at the end. You can get them on Amazon. So I got myself hooked onto that, and I started getting my royalties, even though they're only maybe £10, £20 royalties, but girl, I was making money from my hobby. So there's so many things that you can do. And another thing that I also started doing was doing people's hair. I started braiding, I went on YouTube, I learned to do hair. I just practice. I remember I used to just practice on my hair first, then I had a little sister. I said, okay, let me do your hair, and she let me. So, and I started to work on that as well. So but I did it, all of these things, when I was just so young. And I just think of myself, if only maybe I have the knowledge that I have now, I probably would have done so much more, trust me. And another thing that I would definitely encourage you as young people is just, you know, to develop your craft, to develop, you know, your mind as well. Invest in books. You know, you don't have to buy them as first time books. You can buy them as second hand books, especially Amazon. You can buy them for like £2 or £3, and you know, they're used, but you still have all the knowledge. I definitely say invest in reading. You know, they always say that a lot of secrets for wealth, a lot of secret, you know, for anything that you're trying to, you know, learn about, they are locked up in books. And I have invested in books. I love books. Books are like, you know, they're something that I just love touching. I love reading. I love, you know, I'm always reading these days. I read a range. I read power reads. I also read classic novels. I just, you know, and also now we're so lucky, we're in the era of technology, so we don't have to have a physical book, but you know, you can listen to an audio book, you know. So I would definitely say try and read, you know, at least 30 minutes a day. You have that time where you're just scrolling on your phone, you're on Instagram doing nothing. That's the perfect time to pick a book, or even to download the Kindle app and read. You know, you definitely need to invest in reading. It's a great skill to have, and you will see that among your peers you will definitely have an advanced knowledge. You know, when you talk about, I don't know, for example, sewing, when you read sewing books and even cookbooks as well, you are not just speaking from like, oh yeah, I make this, I make that, but then once you read, you have all the knowledge. You're able to explain things, or you're able to tell people more about, you know, techniques of cooking, techniques of this, techniques of that and stuff. So definitely spend time reading. And another thing is to have confidence. You need to have confidence with your hobby. I know sometimes you're just starting and you're thinking, oh my god, for example, if you're starting, you know, to bake and you want to sell your first bunch of cakes, you gotta have the confidence. You gotta be confident. You gotta put yourself out there. You know, they say with fear, you have to just go out there and do it. So don't be afraid. I remember I must have been 21 when I sold my first book. I remember I was so scared, I was so nervous, and also I thought when I self-published my book, I was just gonna put the books and that's it. But I didn't realize that I had to stand in front of people to tell them about my idea, to tell them about the book that I've just done. So I had to have confidence. And I remember there was my first ever speaking engagement was in front of more than 50 people, and I was sweating buckets, but I did it anyways. And I, you know, you get a thrill at the end of doing something that you're so scared of. I remember I was only given 5 minutes to speak, but I was so scared, I was so nervous, but I remember I did it. And I went back home and I told my little brother, like, oh my god, I felt so good after, even though I was scared at first, I felt so good, and I did it in the end, and it was such an amazing thing. So you really have to be more confident. You have to face your fear. If your fear is of speaking in front of people, man, you have to face it. And also try, what I learned later was that I had to practice. Obviously I have to practice, I have to know what I'm talking about, which brings back to, you know, to reading. If you know what you're talking about, you're gonna go in front of people and you're gonna sell them whatever you know, and stuff. So you definitely have to practice in the mirror, practice, you know, in front of me. If you have siblings, just tell them, stand over there, let me just speak to you, and they'll be able to see where they'll be able to point out some of your flaws that you can work on. So it's something that I think it's worth it doing. Whatever your fear might be, obviously I'm just speaking from my experiences, but I don't know your experience. Maybe yours is to walk on a runway, maybe yours is to, I don't know, sell some, I don't know, wallpaper, anything. So when you're young, try and do something. That was the most important thing that I wanted to say, whether that's doing a blog, whether that's sewing. You know, one thing that I've learned to do as well, I wish I learned when I was younger. Funny enough, my mom, she's an amazing talented woman. She can sew clothes, bedspreads, this, that, And I remember, I think I was 18, she was begging me to learn to sew, like, you should learn, let me teach you. And now, couple of years later, I'm asking him, Mom, can you teach me to sew? And she's got no time. She's busy. She's got her own life. She's running. You know what? I took her for granted. I wish I learned to sew. Now I really just want to make some clothes for myself because I love fashion and stuff. I just wish she taught me. So if you're lucky as well to have, you know, people that are doing what you want to do, for example, if they're doing gardening, if they're baking, and they have all the experience and knowledge, make sure you just approach them and you ask them to teach you, because one day, trust me, you'll be like me, begging them, like, please teach me, show me, you know, how to do this thing. So that's another thing to do. So when you're young, I know you're supposed to have fun, you're supposed to just be free, but you will realize it. I'm 25 now and I'm realizing, like, oh my god, like, I wish I learned to do this when I was younger. I wish. And now we're in an amazing era, an era of technology. Let's not just talk about fashion or just clothes and baking. There's coding. You can also learn about coding. You can also learn to web design. You know, it's so simple. And now we're lucky we have YouTube videos on how they'll show you some of, and you can make money from web designing. Trust me, that one you can make money. It's not even hard. I tried it, I did it, so I'm speaking from experience. Web designing is one of the easiest things to do, and even obviously coding is a bit more technical, but you can learn. If you put your mind to something, you can learn. So think about that, and you know, don't just spend your whole day scrolling on Instagram doing nothing that you know that you will thank yourself later. I remember my little brother always says this: do something now that your future will thank you for. Your future will thank you one day, like, you did well, you learned that, you took the time, you know, to study this, you took the time to practice this, you took the time to work on your craft, you know. So think about it. I hope you guys learned something. I will do some few fun videos about fashion, about how to do your head wraps, and you know, just different style videos. But besides me, I'm all about the brain. I'm a very brainy woman who's smart and intelligent, trying to think of, you know, how to advance in life and stuff. So you will see some videos like this where I am just sharing some of the things that I wish I had learned earlier. And it's only when you're like a little older, you're like, oh my goodness, time has, obviously I'm still very young, I'm so young, extremely young, but I still feel like I could have learned so much more. So if you're 15, if you're 16, even if you're 13, if you're lucky to see this video, obviously, you know, there's so many things that you can do. And believe in yourself, have confidence in yourself, in what you're trying to do at the time, whether that's baking, whether that's coding, whether that's gardening, whether that's even doing ironing. You know, you can actually do an ironing business. But there's so many things that you can do in your free time. Trust me, if you just put your mind to it, you will do it. And also, as much as, yes, I know a lot of people will be like, oh well, I'll just get a job. But look at now, we're all in the lockdown. A lot of people have been made redundant. So think about it. If your business, for example, if you're selling something on, I don't know, Shopify, you're making money in these times, whereas people that were dependent on a job, they're crying. A lot of people have lost their jobs. So you know, that little hobby, that your side hustle could be actually bringing you something in this time, and you won't be struggling. That brings me to one of the greatest books that I've been reading, Patricia by Heart and Hustle, you know. So do take control of your time and try and to develop a side hustle. Obviously, right now you'll be thinking, oh, it's not always about money, because you have to think about how it's gonna impact other people. That's another thing I forgot to do. I forgot to say, you have to do obviously things that will impact people. One thing I will tell you, there's one person in this world, there's over 70 million people in the United Kingdom. So that means out of those 70 million, there's at least one person that will like your idea, that will need what you are either selling, what you're either teaching, what you're either making. For example, making cake, someone will love your cake so much, So don't lose heart at all. There's somebody out there who wants what you have to offer. So I hope you guys learned something from this video. Please take charge of your time. And also, if you're feeling like, oh my goodness, I feel so tired sometimes, I just do not have the energy, one of the greatest ways is to exercise. And you don't have to run or jog, just go for a walk and drink lots of water. You know, you find yourself with energy, because I know sometimes you just don't have the energy, you're just tired. And also surround yourself with people that there's one person in your life at least that's motivating. You know, try and maybe speak to them to help you, you know, to just get some ideas, and also to help you get started, to be motivated to do things. But yeah, I hope you guys learned something. As much as I love fashion and style, I'm all about the brain. I'm also about developing my mind, and also I'm very big on personal development. That's one thing about me. I'm very, very big about it. So I hope you guys can, you know, learn to do something in your youth. You know, your future would definitely thank you. And sometimes it's not about making lots of millions. If you're lucky that your idea makes millions, kudos on you, great. But even if you don't make millions, you make thousands, that's still good. You make, you know, whatever you make, or even if you just impact one person's life, you know what, you are successful in your own right. You are successful if you just impact someone's life. So, you know, try as much as you can. If you're into films, you want to be a filmmaker, go out there, learn to film even just nature, learn to film, you know, just feel things and stuff, and learn to edit. There's so many. Oh my, I could literally do an hour video on what you can do with your free time. Like, there's so many things to do. Or you love decorating, you love, you know, just rearranging things. I don't know, obviously you know what you like the most, you know what makes you smile. If you do that thing makes you smile, for example, for me, writing, I love doing it. I love doing it. I still love doing it. Even in the future, I'm sure I'll still love doing it. But and I'm big on writing and reading. So make sure you guys, you're doing something with your time. You're doing something on the side. I know you can get a job, but trust me, a time like right now is happening where things can just change, and maybe that one side hustle of yours, whether that was selling something online, maybe you were selling candles, you were selling soap, and now people are literally looking out for who's selling soap, who's selling, you know, those antibacterial sprays and stuff. You just never know what you're selling could be the trending thing in this time. So, you know, don't disbelieve in yourself. You have to believe in yourself and learn, and don't worry about making mistakes. I feel like with the mistakes, they teach you how to not do something, so you have to make them. Make as many mistakes, and if you're young, you can make as many, and you can obviously move on from your mistake, and you get wiser and you grow. So I hope you guys learned something. Comment below, and subscribe, and don't forget to share to someone. You might have a niece, a nephew, or anyone that, even yourself, you know, you might actually have got something from this. And yeah, so I will see you guys in my next video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope that you have been inspired, and, you know, go home, you know, look at your life, look at your time, and, you know, just set some few goals, and also try and invest into your hobby, whatever that hobby is. I know that you can work on it, and also even if you fail, you might discover another hobby while you fail in, you know. So for example, for me, like I said, I was writing. I just thought, okay, I'll just put the book out, that's it. But I realized, oh, I have to speak in front of people, so I had to learn that too. So you will stumble into other bigger things. You know, once you do one thing, it opens up greater and amazing things. It may be you are starting by just making hot dogs. Next time you could be making pizzas, you could be making, you know, people will invite you to do so many things. So you're never really, your skills and your talents are really at a loss, are never at a loss. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will see you next time on my next video. Bye.
Thank you for watching this video. Make sure you follow and subscribe.